I don't want people see me, oh, she's a model, that I really like her. I want to see how they are treating me. If they really like me, I want to see their true face. Right after I moved to London, I met my husband. And
I didn't Korean.
Yes, and I didn't speak English.
So two of you met and you didn't speak English well back then.
Yes.
Wow. So our guest today is Kitti. Kitti is actually a real Hungarian name, right?
Yes.
Many times they call you Katarina, Catherine.
Yeah, many times people are asking me if it's short version of the Katarina, and I'm just, no, it's just Kitti, K-I-T-T-I.
Nice.
It's a proper Hungarian name.
And so you live now in Korea. You're married to a Korean guy. And you started out your career as a model actually when you were 17?
Yeah, when I was 17, 10 years ago.
Yeah, wow, that's really nice. And you became a professional model, and then you came to Korea and continued modeling. But before we jump into that, you actually don't like to introduce yourself as a model, right?
Yes.
What's the reason?
Because people gonna think me differently. I mean, people are gonna treat me differently if I say, oh, I'm a model. If I don't say anything, I can see how they are react, how they are treating me. And I'm sorry, I just feel so bad to talk about this again. Because I already told you.
I shouldn't have asked you.
Yes, maybe. Yes. Because you already know, and I'm just like in my head, you already know. That's why I'm
okay. You don't like to repeat yourself.
Yes.
So you like to be treated as you are and not what you do. Like you want people to know the real you, kind of.
Yes. I don't want people see me, oh, she's a model, that I really like her. I want to see how they are treating me. If they really like me, I want to see their true face. And if they get to know I'm a model, they're gonna be surprised. Oh, you're a model? And why you didn't tell me? Because I wanted to see how you acting with me.
I see. So how did this whole thing happen? How did you become a model?
Well, it's a funny story. I was 17 and I was high school student, and I wasn't that popular person in the high school. I was wearing glasses, braces, and I was different from other people. I didn't like to make any makeup or go to clubs. And people made fun of me even in front of my face. Even they just came to me. I mean, they just came to me and they told me, oh, you don't like this because you're mentally not old enough.
Oh, really?
Yes. They were like mocking me, like, why you don't like going club? You are 17. And I was just like, no, I don't like it. Why you can't just accept it? I'm different. And one day one of my classmates told me that it's actually model agency who they are looking for a model, and I said, no, I don't think I can go.
So your classmate asked you if you wanted to go to a casting or something?
Yes. There were a casting, and also I didn't have self-confidence because also people made fun of my weight. I was really skinny. They literally called me, you are collection of the bones.
Oh, wow.
And my friend who showed me the agency, she said, this is why I have to try the agency, because they are looking for skinny people. And I'm gonna have some self-confidence if I'm gonna see that they like me because I'm skinny. So I tried it.
Did you go there together with your friend, with your classmate? Or did you go there alone?
I went there maybe with my mom.
Wow.
With my mom, because she was supporting me always.
That's really nice.
And yeah, I was really curious how it's gonna end. Also because when I tried to flirt with other men, they didn't like me before. They were like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk with you. Even though I was texting the person every day, I really like you. And I feel a little bit weird because I'm the girl who is texting you, but I didn't want to give up, because I really liked the person.
So it was when you were 17, still at high school, there was a guy that you liked and texting him?
Yes.
But he didn't?
No, he was not really good personality. I mean, I don't want to say bad word. 2 seconds. What is a good word to?
But he was just maybe not interested in you.
Yes, but he could just ignore me, or he could just block me. But he didn't. He was still receiving my messages and just answering me with like, "Okay, thanks." So
I see.
I was like, if you don't like me, then you can block me. Why are you still texting me back? So this is why I was just keep trying. And yes, that was that guy. And after I give up, I went for the casting.
So before you go on, how was this casting? What did you do there? How did you feel?
In the casting, I thought I'm gonna fail. They're gonna laugh for me that why I want to try this, because I was treated always I'm the ugly girl and the skinny with eating problems. Actually, I didn't have eating problems, just people thought that. And I was already scared that how they gonna laugh on me, the people at the casting. But I was really surprised because they liked me, and I was like, what? Am I in a dream? They really think I'm pretty? And they said yes, and they called me back.
Wow. So how can we imagine? Is that like a room and you enter the room and then there are many other girls there, and then they call you one by one and then there's a jury? Or like how can we imagine this casting?
Well, that was actually some people who were recording videos and pictures of me. They were taking pictures of my left side, of my right side, front, back, and writing down like how tall I am, my weight, my sizes, and my age. And they sent this to the boss of the agency. And they called me back that they like me and they want to see me in real life.
So the boss called you, okay, we want to meet you in real life?
Yes.
And then you went and met him? And then did he offer a contract?
I honestly, I don't really remember because it's been already 10 years.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. I remember when my mom told me like, oh, I just got a phone call from the agency. They want to see you. And I was like, what? Really?
So were you then like scared or were you excited?
I was excited. I was very, very excited, and I was very happy too that finally kind of started to accept me.
And then you started having like photo shootings, and were you also on stage? Did you receive any training? Sorry, like many questions.
That's okay. They told me that what's gonna wait for me, that I have to walk, catwalk, and also I'm gonna have some photo shoot for my portfolio. But because I was wearing glasses, they said I have to change contact lenses, and that was my first time when I tried contact lenses, and it was a weird experience because I never seen myself without glasses, but it was okay actually, because it was a really new experience and I was still excited. So yeah, I switched to contact lenses, and they called me to Budapest because I was living in another city, not in Budapest. So they called me to have some photo shoot, and I still remember my first photo shoot was very, very funny because normally when you go photo shoot, you have to be natural, no makeup. Your hair is natural, right? And fresh and everything. And I used at the time I was kind of, how to say, in my rock and roll area. So I used to know some spray on my hair. My hair was also purple down. So I was using spray. And when I got to the photo shoot, the photographer was like, why did you use spray to your hair? We have to change it. Like that.
And did you change it then? Or like?
They used water on my hair because, you know, it was very sticky and strong, my hair. So they had to change my hair. And it was weird because I didn't know how to pose the first photo shoot. I was just wearing something different clothes, which is not me, with makeup and different hair. And they told me that, why you are not posing? And I was like, I don't know what to do. And they just told me, okay, move your hand like this and this, like this, every time. And I became nervous. And after I thought maybe I'm not good as a model because I don't know how to pose. But my boss told me that's okay, that was my first time. And of course, I supposed not to know about this. That was my first portfolio shooting.
Yeah, and then you started doing, I guess, more and more things, and you got known. And then I guess your high school classmates saw your pictures, or how did they find out that you were a model?
I posted my portfolio pictures from my first photo shoot on social media. Because my family really wanted to see. They were very happy for me, my cousin, my uncles, and also my classmates and friends saw it. And they were liking my pictures. Even some person who never ever liked my picture before, they liked my pictures and commented and, wow, you're so beautiful. And I was like, what happened? You never texted me or you never commented on my picture before. And even the guy who I liked before, he changed differently. He texted me that, oh, you became a model? Oh, that's incredible, congratulations. And I was like, oh yes, thank you. Oh, you're so beautiful, and I'm so sorry that I didn't treat you well before, and I don't deserve forgiveness from you because you're a beautiful model. And I was like, oh my god, so this is how people are changing after I just became model. And I didn't talk to him anymore.
Oh, you didn't talk to him anymore?
I try to be still kind to him because I think this is one of my weakness. I'm too kind to people. Even though sometimes I should not, but yes, I texted him back that that's it, okay, no worries. And I didn't say more, just, oh my god, I'm stuck here, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
So you, before you became a model, you were this like outsider and you didn't really manage to fit into your class and people were like laughing at you. And then you became a model and they completely changed. And then you were really surprised, like, wow, okay, that's what people like actually value in life. But still you stay humble, and when you introduce yourself to somebody, you don't say that you're a model, because you want people to get to know as you are, and that's just like your title. I think I can relate to that a lot. I think I have those standards as well. And so I guess you want people to see the real you and the real beauty, not only because of your title. Yeah, that's an amazing story. So I just really wanted to hear that story. That's not your main story that you brought today, but I was just like very curious about that. And thank you for sharing so honestly. And then, so fast forward, like you were a model and then you graduated from school and I think you moved to England, right?
That's right.
What was the reason? Why did you move to England?
Okay, that story is also from high school because other people were treating me very badly. Also, I didn't study well because I didn't have any motivation. Why do I have to study? Like, does that make sense? Everyone just hates me. So my exam in the end, the high school, it didn't went well. And everyone else went to university, but me. And I just realized very late I was supposed to study harder and get more points for the university. So I went for a 2 year course in Hungary, which gave me more points. It's called OKI. I don't know.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yes. And also I realized I need another exam to get more points, and that's supposed to be maybe a language exam. I used to study German before for like 8 years, but I really, really hated. I'm really sorry, but I hated that language, and I was like, I want to learn English because anywhere you can go to work. I mean, if you go Asia or Australia or anywhere, people everywhere speaking English. It's really basic language. And I want to travel, I want to see the world. So I decided to learn English so I can get my English exam to get more points for the university. But because I only had 2 years, so after 2 years of the course, I decided to go to London so I can learn the fastest way the language in London.
And did you want to enroll in a language course, or you thought you go there, you work, and while working you will just pick up the language?
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought I'm gonna just move there and live there, and maybe the language gonna stuck in my head. And I want to use in everyday life when I go for shopping or taking the train or talking to friends. So yeah, I was thinking like this, I'm gonna pick up the language.
Did it work out well?
Not really, because at the beginning when I moved there, it was October actually, in 2018. Right after I moved to London, I met my husband, and
I didn't Korean.
Yes, and I didn't speak English.
So two of you met, and you didn't speak English well back then.
Yes.
Wow.
He already got his C2, level C2
in English.
In English,
which is like there's one more level because like Koreans don't have this like C levels. It's a European standard. So your C1 is the highest and C2 is the second highest.
Yes. So he got the C2 level in English already. And I still remember our first date, our conversation was like this. It was like me, like, oh, picture. Oh, go there. I was talking like this. At the time, my brain was like a sponge because I didn't learn English even though he told me. But still, my English got improved a lot.
Yeah, I think once you live in a country, like kind of naturally, when you interact with locals, you kind of naturally learn it. You don't have to just sit down in front of a book and study. Like we all have different methods of learning. And then how did the two of you decide to get married at the end?
I honestly was shocked when he proposed to me. It was in 2019, September. We came our first trip to Korea together because it was Chuseok. So he brought me and introduced his family for the first time. And he took me for a 미용실, hairdresser. He took me there and I was like, why you want me to have a nice hair for tonight? And he was like, we're gonna have a nice dinner, a nice date night. And I was like, okay. And I was wearing nice clothes. He took me a bar and he proposed to me there.
Wow.
We been crying a lot actually, both of us. And it was in 2019 September, yes.
So after about like 1 year of dating, was it?
Yes, 1 year. And also because we moved together, so we knew already how we can live with each other.
Wasn't it difficult because of the language?
No, actually, surprisingly, we understood each other. We didn't have any fights. Everything was like, okay, you did this and I'm gonna do this. Oh, okay. It's still working like that. And this is why my husband decided to marry with me, because also I followed him to Scotland. We moved to Scotland together. And everything was just working very fine, even though we moved together. So yeah, he proposed to me, and after, in 2020, COVID came, and his visa started to expire in the UK, and he wanted to stay in Scotland, and he couldn't. I mean, he was gonna apply for a visa in an Ardbeg distillery in Scotland, but because of the COVID, they couldn't give him. So he had to come back to Korea, but he was like, he can't live without me, and I have to come too.
How was that for you? Like, what did you think about Korea and moving here?
I was thinking that Korea should be better than Scotland, because the place where we used to live in Scotland, there was a small island with 3,000 people, and there was nothing. And I was like, okay, let's go Korea. And he brought me here with the tourist visa, but to find another visa was very hard. So he said, well, anyway, I proposed to you. You said yes. So we were gonna marry anyway. Why we are not doing the marriage visa? And I said yes. Okay, why not? So we got our paper documents.
So did you get married here in Korea or in England?
In Korea.
In Korea.
In Korea, yes. So we got married in Korea, and since then we are living here.
Wow, that's also a really interesting story. Like, I think if you find each other, because you said like language was not an issue, I think many people, including me, are like scared. Like, yeah, but if you meet somebody from another culture, how will you able to communicate to each other? And then you don't only have the language barrier, but you also have the cultural barrier. So I think your story is really inspiring, that if you really meet the right person, as you said, you don't need so many words to communicate, because like you kind of understand each other. So I think that's a really amazing story. And I really admire you that you're so flexible to say, oh, you want to move to Scotland? Let's go. Oh, you want to move to Korea? Let's go.
These days I'm not like this. At the time I was way too curious. I really wanted to see the world, and I was like, I'm young, why not? Even I told my mom, I have a big problem.
That brought you to Korea in 2020?
2020,
summer you moved to Korea. Like, I'm curious about that experience. Like, how was it at the beginning? So you moved here, you moved together. Did you live alone?
I had to go back to Hungary after 3 months.
Because of your tourist visa?
Yes, to get the marriage visa. And during I was in Hungary, he moved to Jeju. And after I came back, I had to go right to the Jeju. And I had my quarantine in Jeju.
Oh, quarantine. Oh, a long time ago.
I got free food.
From the Korean government?
Yes.
Oh, like noodles, cup
eggs, and toilet paper.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those times. And so you were quarantined there, and then you got married already, like on paper. But did you have like an official ceremony?
Not yet, because of the COVID. We wanted to meet the family. We wanted to have the ceremony all together. So because of the COVID, we couldn't do it. And after the COVID is get gone, actually, the money was the problem. And now the time.
But that's great, because if you invite me, I can go to your wedding.
Oh, it depends where we go. We even don't know where we're gonna.
I see.
Yeah.
Like Hungary or Korea.
Yes. But my parents-in-law, they are saying we're supposed to do in Hungary because my parents can't fly.
Oh, right. Oh, that must be really hard. So yeah, you came here, you live in Jeju, you don't speak Korean, I guess, or you didn't speak Korean back then. How did you handle all that situation? New environment, new people, new language, new culture.
I was excited and I loved the situation that I was living in the island again, and Jeju was, Jeju is still, it's amazing, beautiful island with a beautiful nature. So there is not too many places to go, but if you want to see nature, you can find it anywhere. You can go 30 minutes beach, or the other side 30 minutes, you can go to Halasan, the mountain. So I love that nature, and obviously I love that there was more people than in Scotland. And I was exploring the Korean stores, art books, Daiso. I was like, oh my God, Daiso is a heaven. Everything is cheap and you can find anything. But in Scotland in Scotland the situation was worse, because if I wanted to buy something, I had to order, because the thing what I was ordering came from the mainland. So I had to wait at least 2 weeks. 2 days, sorry. 2 days.
Here Korea is like very fast.
More convenient. Yes. And I love Korean food.
I remember when I moved to Korea, the beginning was really like, as in a honeymoon. Wow, everything is so nice, and there are these beautiful cafes. So I moved to Seoul, and wow, and beautiful fashion, and so I was like really in love. But the problem started later. And then I had struggles with the language and with the culture. How was it in your case?
For me, the same as well. Everything was like a pink cloud at the beginning. I loved everything, that everything is so convenient and fast. But after like 1 year, I realized the cultural differences and how people are thinking differently, and I'm not fitting here.
What was the most difficult thing for you in terms of culture?
The people, how they are thinking about the work. So in Europe, you say, okay, you work to live. But in Korea, what I see mostly, they live for work. And that is so big difference for me. I want, relax, enjoy my life, but I can see here Koreans are really focusing on their job, and they are working amounts of hours a week, and I just can't imagine that to do like them.
So you came to Korea, and at the beginning everything was like nice and exciting, as looking through pink glasses, but then at some point it got difficult. So could you tell me more about that time?
Yes. After 1 year maybe around, I realized that I kind of losing myself. I don't know who I am anymore, because every people around me was different than in Europe. So I realized I want to be like them. For example, Korean people are washing their hair every day, but not European. So I started to wash my hair every day too, because I felt bad. Oh, I have to wash my hair. Everyone is washing their hair every day, so I should do the same because I'm here. And I saw people are wearing the same style, same clothes. I was like, I have to do the same because everyone is doing that around me. Also, I was lonely because I miss my friends and my family. I didn't have anyone. But eventually I got my doggy and she helped me. My doggy actually helped me a lot. We helped each other. So after we helped each other because I was taking care of her, taking her doggy walk. I wasn't lonely anymore. She helped me a lot. After my mind got a little bit healthier, and after I realized that I supposed to not follow everything what I saw here, I can just stay myself, like in Europe.
I think I've been through a very similar situation. I live together with Koreans and I see them washing their hair every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do they do that? Like, it's so much time. But then I also thought maybe I'm wrong because I wash my hair once a week.
Yeah.
And they were like, you wash your hair once a week? Yeah. And I was like, am I too dirty?
Yeah, I do the same.
And then interestingly, like the dynamic was that like first I thought that I was wrong and then they thought that they were wrong. And then they were like, oh, maybe I don't have to wash my hair every day. So then they started like, now they're washing it like every second day. That was interesting as well, like seeing different cultures.
Yes, I was the same because I was different as a European, obviously. I thought whatever I'm doing differently is wrong here. So I felt bad.
Yeah, I think it's main, like, also like one part is because like our mindset, we think that we're wrong, but on the other hand I think Korean culture is like that, so there's one correct way and everything else is wrong, and it's like not judgment but it's like their mindset. And I think at some point I got this mission to kind of break that mindset and like to show that different is also good. But like you and me, we are foreigners, so I think it's our process to kind of like accept ourselves as we are. So like you got your puppy and that helped you, and at some point you realized, okay, you're different and it's good to be different. I think I remember you told me like because your mother-in-law and father-in-law, parents-in-law, they have a restaurant, right?
Yes.
So then they once they invited you, and would you like to tell that story?
Yeah, that story. Okay. So my mother-in-law cooked food for me, and I really loved it. It was really delicious. But as a European, I was eating quietly and nicely, and my mother-in-law just came to me, "What's wrong? You didn't like the food? It's not yummy?" And I was like, "It's really, really delicious. You're not making any sound." And I was like, "Why? Do I supposed to make any sound during I'm eating? It's kind of rude in Europe." And my husband told me, "Yes, Koreans are making sounds if they are enjoying the food. That the way how they are showing, they are enjoying the food, making sounds during eating." And I was like, "I didn't know. I'm sorry. Can you tell your mom that we're not doing like this in Europe? And it's really yummy. I'm just original European who trying to be nice at the table. And this is why I didn't make any sound."
Yeah, I think I had similar experiences. So at some point I realized that they really want to have this confirmation as well. So they look at you kind of like they make food for you, and then you start eating and they look at you and you have to say 맛있어요. And then and get more, because that's kind of the confirmation that you like it. And I didn't know that at the beginning. I was just also enjoying, and I was thinking, wow, this is so delicious. But like keeping my poker face. And then was there anything else, like for example, food that you don't like, or like rejecting things? Because I think Koreans are also like quite sensitive about that.
Yes, there were some food. There were some times when I couldn't finish the food because I was full. And I felt bad, or maybe they're gonna be angry if I'm not gonna finish the food. And I can see every Korean finish the food. So I felt bad. But my mother-in-law told me it's okay, I'm a foreigner. If I can't finish because I'm full, it's okay. I don't have to worry about it. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. But I still felt bad because I was thinking maybe, even though she's saying that, she hurts that I'm not finishing her food. So yeah, it's a little bit complicated.
So how did you manage then to change your mind and think, okay, I don't have to be like Koreans?
I think the trip, when I go back to Hungary every time, is helping me to realizing that I am Hungarian, I am European, and this is Asia. This is completely different, and there are many other foreigners as well. And I can just be myself as I grew up before. I can just stay myself.
How about the language? I think you mentioned that also because of the language you got a bit confused. Like in which language you think? Do I think in Korean? Do I think in Hungarian?
Yeah. So since when I met my husband, I started to use my English very often. And since that time, my mind, as I'm thinking in my head, also changed. So I'm not thinking anymore in Hungarian in my head, I'm thinking in English. And people are saying, like, if you speak as many languages you speak, you have as many personality as well. Yes, that's true. If I speak Hungarian, I feel different. I'm a different person as well. When I speak in English, of course, another personality is coming up. And when I speak Korean, of course, another personality. So, because I'm speaking English in my head, I'm not the person anymore who I used to be like 5 years ago. And I realized this after I started to talk myself in Hungarian. So one day I was on the bus and I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to myself in Hungarian. And I was talking in my head and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I am myself again. I didn't talk to myself in Hungarian so long time. And yeah, since then I'm trying to talk to myself more Hungarian.
Yeah, I think I'm in that phase now where I talk to myself in Korean. Like, 뭐 먹지? Like, 오늘 날씨 좋다. And I think that like I started just like to because there's like a kind of like a method to learn the language faster if you also talk to yourself in that language. Yes. But I think like reconnecting to yourself and who you really are, it's important somehow not to like lose track. That's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing all these stories. Before we wrap up, is there maybe anything else that you want to say or any advice that you want to give people?
Advice what I want to give, if you move another country, you are not alone. There are millions of people who are moving another country. They are doing their best, and if you lose yourself, that's okay. It's one of the things could happen. You just have to remind yourself that we are living in one planet. We are just a small dust in the big universe. So the Earth is a one planet. If you go anywhere, it's our home. Our planet is our home. It's just different countries, but still our home.
Oh, that's really a beautiful message, yeah. So wherever you go, you're still at home if you take the perspective.
Yes. This is how I'm trying to think. That I'm trying to think really outside, the outsider.
Yeah. You also said you even have a tattoo on your ankle, which is the moon. Yeah. So if you look from the moon, then all people in this earth are like at home, right? Yes. They're all one family. Oh, that's really beautiful message. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and for your time.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, and see you next time.
Me?